So I love cookies. Chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies. I love all types of cookies. And not only do I love cookies, I love any type of just bakery goods. One of my favorite things to do is to go to like local bakeries or cafes and just look at all of the baked goods that they have. They have macaroons and coffee cake and fresh bread, sandwiches from the bakery that are made with the fresh bread. Oh my God, so good. As some of you may know, I have been on a fitness and health journey for the past like 10 months or so. And when you are a sugar addict, a cookie addict, and you just love like those baked goods, it makes it pretty difficult to stick to a clean diet. So that's why today we are going to be making 3 different cookie recipes that are all completely clean and healthy and won't ruin your diet if you are trying to drop a few pounds. However, all of these cookies are actually so tasty that you would love them even if you're not on a health journey like I am. I actually let my kids at the end of this video taste test all of the cookies that I made because let's be real, cookies aren't really good unless the kids love them, right? And I'm super excited to share the recipes with you. So let's go ahead and get started. For the first recipe, you will need almond flour, cocoa powder, salt, unsweetened chocolate chips, confectioner's sugar. I'm using a 0-calorie sugar replacement, baking soda, and coconut oil. So you want to start by adding all of your dry ingredients into your mixing bowl. So I'm adding 1 cup of the almond flour, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar or sugar replacement. And I'm using a fork to get that very well mixed in the bowl before we move on to the wet ingredients. And I almost forgot the salt. Once that is well combined, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of your milk of choice. I'm just using regular 2% milk. And I'm adding 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. And again, mix that all up with your fork. And at this point, the texture should be pretty crumbly, but if you just keep mixing, it'll form a nice dough. And once everything is well combined, it's time to add the chocolate chips. Add in your sugar-free chocolate chips and give that a good mix, and then we're going to prepare the cookies on our baking sheet. So I have just lined my baking sheet with some foil and added butter. Unlike normal cookies that will spread a little bit in the oven, these cookies actually hold their shape. So what you want to do is roll your dough into balls and then squish them between your palms. These cookies don't spread very much in the oven. They really just hold their form. So you want to make sure they look how you want them to look before you put them in the oven. You're going to bake your cookies in the oven at 325 for 11 minutes. And once they come out, they will look like this, and you want to let them cool for a couple of minutes. And once they are cool, this step is optional, but I think it adds a perfect touch and a little extra sweetness to these fudgy cookies. So I'm just taking the baked cookies and putting them into a small bowl of the confectioner's sugar. And if you have a sifter or a mesh strainer, that would be a lot easier for this step, but I didn't have one of those. And that is it for the double chocolate fudgy cookies. These are so delicious and will definitely cure your chocolate craving. And the next recipe is for the coconut flour Funfetti cookies. These ones are so fun. For this recipe, you will need 0-calorie sweetener. I'm using stevia, coconut flour, xanthan gum, butter, eggs, salt, vanilla extract, baking powder, and coconut oil. So the first thing we're going to do is cream together the butter and sweetener. So I'm using 1/3 cup of butter and 1/3 cup of sweetener, and I am using a hand mixer until the texture is nice and fluffy. And then we're going to add in our 2 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and a little bit of salt. And then again, I'm going back to the hand mixer and just mixing that all together. Then I added in the coconut oil and kept on mixing. I'm sure if you don't have a hand mixer, you could probably get away with just using a whisk or a fork and mixing this with your hands. So then we're adding in the coconut flour, and you want to do just a little bit at a time. You don't want to throw the whole thing in there. It just helps with the mixing process. So we want 1 cup of coconut flour in total, but I'm just doing about half each time and then giving it a mix in between. So the next step is adding in the xanthan gum. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This ingredient was a little bit difficult to find, but I ended up finding it at Target. And this is basically going to act as a binder for our cookies and give them that nice, soft, gooey texture. Then I'm giving that a mix with the hand mixer and letting that sit for just a few minutes. So then we're going to add in some white chocolate chips and some sprinkles. Now these ingredients are completely optional. If you want to keep these cookies on the healthier side, you can leave these out, but it does make them a little bit more indulgent. It ups the sugar and carb content, but it also makes you so much happier when you see cookies with sprinkles and chocolate chips. So since the base of the cookies are still really healthy, I think these add a nice balance and it just makes it a little bit more fun. So it's totally up to you. So preparing these cookies, we're going to go through the exact same process we did with the chocolate cookies, and just rolling them into a ball and then flattening it between our palms before you put it on the baking sheet. The awesome thing about these sugar cookies is that because they hold their shape so well, these are perfect for making cutout cookies. So you can whip out some cookie cutters or cut out some fun shapes with these cookies, and it would make it a lot more fun. For the Almond Joy cookies, you will need heavy whipping cream, shredded coconut, sliced almonds, chocolate chips, butter, and 0-calorie sweetener. Again, I'm using stevia. So the first thing we're going to do is actually make a healthier version of a sweetened condensed milk. So I'm going to start by placing 2 cups of the heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1/3 cup of the stevia into a saucepan, and I'm heating this over medium-high heat until it boils. So you want to let this boil for 1 to 2 minutes before reducing the heat to low, and let this simmer on the stove for about 15 to 20 minutes. You'll know that it's ready when the mixture is a lot thicker and your milk has reduced by about half. While our sweetened condensed milk is cooling down, I'm just going to mix together all of the other ingredients. So I'm adding 2 cups of the shredded coconut, 1/2 cup of the sliced almonds, and 1 cup of the chocolate chips, and just give that a good mix. Now before you add your condensed milk into this mixture, you want to make sure it's completely cooled down. You can put it in the fridge for a little bit to speed up this process, but as you can see, I actually didn't wait long enough for my condensed milk to cool down, so some of my chocolate chips started to melt, but it ended up working out completely fine. Just make sure your condensed milk is all the way cooled down before making this cookie mixture. So now I'm just going to take spoonfuls of the mixture onto my baking sheet. Then I'm going to bake those cookies in the oven at 325 for 15 minutes. And then you're going to put the entire baking sheet into the freezer for at least 30 minutes. This will allow the condensed milk to settle and firm up, so that way you have actual cookies and not just a big goopy mess. So we've got our 3 cookies. Coconut flour sugar cookies, the Almond Joy cookies, and the fudgy chocolate cookies. My kids are going to taste test them to see if they are kid approved, because let's be real, cookies aren't good unless kids want to eat them. But which one should we try first?
That one! I want chocolate. Good.
Try the next one?
Yeah.
These ones are big, so I'm gonna split them in half.
It tastes good. Yeah.
You like it? You like this one? No? Cece said no on this one. Do you like it?
I like it. Yeah. Wait, what's that going to do? No, I don't even charge anymore. I need you.
A drink?
It's good.
Alright, so you guys tried all 3 cookies, so which one is your favorite? Number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Number 1. I love the
Number 1, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, Archer likes the chocolate the best.
I love this one.
You like this one? Is it because of the sprinkles?
Really?
Which one do you like? This one?
Yeah.
Alright, I guess the coconut flour Funfetti cookies are the winner.
Oh.
My personal favorite, I think, is the Almond Joy Cookies. They're a little bit messy. They don't look like traditional cookies, but they taste really, really good. So leave me a comment down below letting me know which of these 3 cookies that you would want to try. And if you do try out any of these recipes, please let me know how it turned out. I would love to hear back from you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that subscribe button before you leave. And if you want to be notified when I upload new videos, hit the bell icon as well. And thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. I love you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!